Hi, everybody. This is Melba Moore, and you're watching So Booking Cool.
So booking, so booking, so booking cool.
There's so much booking cool. So listen to So Booking Cool.
Welcome to So Booking Cool, it's Jewel B. There was a time when this legendary artist didn't know she had a voice. But after a multi-decade, history-making career, her voice has touched many on Broadway, music, television, and movies. Did you know she and Clifton Davis were the first Black couple to host a weekly variety show on primetime? In 2017, her rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing entered the congressional record as the official Black national anthem and was added to the U.S. National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress as an American oral treasure. There are more honors to come for the Tony Award-winning and Grammy-nominated songstress. This August, she will receive the President Joe Biden Lifetime Achievement Award, as well as the Presidential Volunteer Service Award for her commitment to improvement within urban communities. She has been announced to receive her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2023. And she's still got it. Her new album, Imagine, came out this year, executive produced by her daughter, Charlie Huggins. Here with us today in this episode, she is the marvelous Melba Moore. Stay tuned for our conversation only on So Booking Cool. So, Miss Moore, you have a slew of honors and accomplishments. Are there any that mean the most to you, and why is that?
That's a difficult question. I'm kind of getting used to the fact that I'm going to have a star. I can't say that means the most to me, but I can see that it's really impressive. First of all, it's permanent. So people are not allowed to forget it. And you can, go and walk down that street and it's going to be there as long as America is here.
People are not going to forget you. Yeah.
Well, after so much time goes by, this planet has been here for thousands of years, and hopefully America, will be here for at least a few more 100 years. They're going to forget. That's only going to be natural. That's okay. I don't expect to be remembered forever. I think it's just pretty awesome that I've been numbered among those who should be kind of pointed out and given some accolades for what we've done in this life. I think it's very, very, very special. You asked me what means the most to me. I think kind of culminating in seeing that people have been paying attention to your life even when you weren't. And it made a difference, and it made something good happen in their lives that they can pay attention to and say, I remember that. I don't know if I can pick one out.
Yeah. Were there any artists that gave you that feeling?
Oh, yeah. Are you joking? This is America. And especially Black America, but not just only, I don't want to be racist. But it could be a habit since we've had it done to us so much. But America is just so full of all kinds of talents to inspire you. And of course, I've been here for quite a long time. So I could start with my parents who wanted to be entertainers. They wanted to be stars. I'm sure my mother would have loved to have a star. And so I probably caught it from then, that fire, that spirit that's, this is, I want to do that. When you're young, you don't know what it is, but it's the first spark that starts you. And then you start listening to the people that are in their generation, like the Frank Sinatras and like the Ella Fitzgeralds and like the Lena Hornes and oh God, just so many. Then you go on to the next generations, or you go into the other genres that were created. Like my father, his name is Teddy Hill, and your watchers or listeners can Google him and see that he was one of the big band leaders of that era when it came in. And they helped to usher in what was then called modern jazz and bebop, because he, after he stopped being a big band leader, he started to manage the club called Minton's Playhouse, which is historical.
We know what you mean.
Know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The inspiration begins within my family. And like you said in the beginning, my family was broken, like many, especially African Americans, because we were brought here as slaves. We're still trying to heal family. So my mother was a single parent trying to take care. She didn't abort me. She kept me. That's important in the history that we're living now. I'm not saying what anybody should choose, but I'm glad she kept me. And she tried to take care of her mother, who had strokes. So here's a woman she's supposed to be the heart of the household. She has to be the head of the household because the family is broken. And so she got somebody to raise me, which we used to call a nanny. And she was an orphan, illiterate domestic. I mean, sharecroppers at least raised the crops on the farms for somebody else. She didn't even, she could probably never have a chance to even own a farm. She was an orphan. She had no parents, so she was shifted around from place. This is the influence that raised me, okay? And because of that, though, I'm skipping some things. As I went, my mother married my stepfather, and he was a musician, and so they formed a musical group together. So because of that, there was music in the home, and they rehearsed in the home. And my stepfather had a son and a daughter, so now I had a sister and a brother. So that's your first community, is your family. And he made us take piano lessons. So now I'm becoming a student of music. There was no music in my house at all before, and we discovered that I have a voice. But I'm already 10 years old. So usually, if you are the instrument, even if you're a child about 4, 5, or 6 years old, your voice has a little vibrato. People say, "Oh, look, she can sing." That didn't happen for me until I was 10, and had been moved into a whole family. Now I got a sister and a brother. I got a voice. I got music. I got all of these things that you would have if your family were whole. So I'm really trying to say something very important about, how our thoughts and how our aspirations are formed. They're stunted and blunted at the beginning. Sometimes we never have an opportunity to achieve in life what we could have. So then I went on through those years. So, I mean, imagine having somebody like Ella Fitzgerald influence you. Well, I want to sing scat too. Matter of fact, I do.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go on and on. Just to give, let's say, later on, I'll go on just a little bit. To hear somebody like Aretha Franklin.
Yeah. So
then I want to sing like her. And one of the reasons I had this incredible song is because I found it I got all her albums, like millions of people did and do. Mm-hmm. And when we used to have vinyl, and they had singles, so little things that look like CDs. You don't know about that.
Yeah.
You've seen it on TV, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, this was a little one. This was a single, what they call a single. It didn't have the whole album on it. It had only one song on the A side and one song on the B side. The A side was the one that they had picked to play for people and promote on records, because they figured that's what people would like and that would be the hit. Now the B side, because it was the disc was made the way it was, you had to have a song on it. So that's what they basically call like a throwaway. So my point is this: you want to say, why am I telling you all this, right? Because I would take the crumbs from Mr. Franklin's table. I took the B side. I took everything that she had, and I adored and talked about. I'm going back now to what inspired you, and the song was "Lean on Me." Well, that song has become a signature song for me. So I'm telling you how I guess I'm excited about how rich we are as Americans. There is so much talent, and some of it are in little lanes now because you like a certain music, you can hear it. Nobody will ever hear of you, and they're fabulous. That's why it's hard for me to tell you one person or one type of thing that I'm inspired by, because I feel like as Americans and as African Americans, where it's in our DNA, we have so much to listen to and to pick from. It's kind of almost impossible to pick one.
Oh yeah, like our history, especially where music is concerned, it's so rich, it really is.
And you're saying it beautifully, because it's not just music, but our history is so rich. Go ahead.
No, yeah, thank you for that. So it sounds like you had a family that was supportive of your musical interest and everything, but they also
no, they created it. I didn't know I had a musical interest.
Right, because when you were 10, that's when it started, like when you realized that you had that voice. Because oftentimes, what age would you say that a lot of singers realize that, oh, this is what I want to do, or I have this talent?
Well, that's two different questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think you discover that you have a beautiful voice because you're singing like kids sing, and some adult or some kid says, you have a beautiful voice. We usually find out who we are from other people. Someone tells you, oh, listen at her voice. You usually find that out around about from 4 on up. So when you don't know that at that age, and you are the instrument, you are deprived of some vital part of your being. It's like if you were born blind, or if you thought you were blind but you weren't. I think it's just so awesome to find that out, and then to have it, whether it's late or whenever. I mean, for a long time, I kind of was really sorry that I found out so late. I could have done this, I could have done that, could have done that. Then I look at what has happened. Oh, she's the first Black actress to replace a white actress in a lead role on Broadway. Hair was my first Broadway show, but I didn't have any theater in my background. So now I got to look at it differently.
Yeah, you had to learn about that audition process, right?
I still don't know how to audition. You know what I've learned? Do things like this. Somebody else will hire me to talk. This is my audition.
Just being yourself.
And being out there wherever you can, because here, you and I create the rules. You tell me what you want, and I meet your requirements. But there, they say, well, we're looking for such and such and such. Very often, they have somebody like running the tape or whatever. They don't even read with you or give you anything to work with. And you're kind of like, I won't say in a vacuum, but if you haven't been trained to act especially, you don't have anything to work with. Like when I got into hair, we had a director, somebody teaching us the basic rudiments, and they were looking for people who were interesting personalities or talents that they could groom. So they actually taught us on the job. So I missed the audition process. I never learned how to audition. So then as I tried to audition, I never got anything. I was going for years and years. I said, this is a waste of time. I'm never going to get anything. So how will I let people know this is what you could hire me for? Very often I might do, don't know what that is. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, got rid of it. What was my thought? Actually, you made me lose my train of thought.
Well, I know you were saying that you felt like you couldn't land anything because you were trying to audition for things for years.
Right. So I'm saying, well, I have to be out here and people have to see you do what you do. Well, it just reminds me of one quick story, and that is once I was in hair, one of the girls in the course reminded me that I didn't know how to audition, and she was going to help me start to learn that process. But she told me about a play that wound up getting me a Tony Award. I got the part, I got a career. I still didn't learn how to audition. Well, maybe I did, because, no, let me tell you. What happened was the character was Ludi Bell Gussie Mae Jenkins, but she was exact replica of the woman that had raised me. So all I would do is lapse into her. But as Americans, we all have another country. I guess that's why I'm so grateful to be an American. There's some things I can observe about how we are and use that to fit into what's required to meet requirements, even though I haven't been trained in certain things.
So do you think there's only one set way to audition for something?
That's what I'm saying. No.
No. Yeah,
No.
from what you're saying, yeah.
No. It's much more broader than that. And when you go up for an audition and that person, as they should, set the parameters for what they want, if you don't fit that, then you keep, so maybe it's better for you to try to write something for yourself or make friends with writers and see if they can create something okay, see, this is what I did. Can you create something? I would just look at the situation in some other ways that would accommodate your trying out for the job, applying for the job. So I'm not just limiting it to entertainment.
Do you believe that networking is very important? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Right, because you can't work in a vacuum. People have to connect with people. We do things with each other and through each other. Yeah, networking is absolutely important. Yes. If you don't know how to do it, I don't know how to tell you how to do it, but there's different ways you'll learn.
Yeah.
Make friends or get out, go see what people are doing, connect, see what your mind is telling you to start the process of networking. Yes.
Going back to your family, right? So they wanted you to get a degree so that you could get something that was more practical, right? Like just in case. Why do you think that there are a lot of families that tend to feel that way when it comes to the arts? Because
one of the things that's been kept secret from us is how does the business part work? Everyone tells you get an agent, get a manager. No one says to you, learn how to be an agent, learn how to be a manager. And that was done on purpose. So I'm encouraging you, even if you are 10 years old and you babysit or you have a paper route or something. Do they still have newspapers?
Yeah, they still have some of the local papers.
Well,
but I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And parents teach your children about budget, about what money does, because if you don't know how money works, I don't care what your vocation or your talent is, you're going to lose it because you won't be able to make a living. You won't be able to be in control of how it works. And so the best things that, parents could do if they weren't in the industry and they didn't know the industry, or if they were like my parents and they were in the industry, but we still, especially as African Americans, had how did prosperity work hoarded and hidden from us. How does it work? So you keep making mistakes and you keep winding up broke. You don't know how it works, unless you're an attorney, because you've been taught how it works. It's that simple. And you can learn that at 4 years old. So I would say, parents, big kids, teach the little kids about money and how it works so that you can have control over your life, the prosperity, the practical monetary function of every life belongs to you. It doesn't belong to a business or someone else or even the prosperity preacher. It belongs to you. And so, and you can learn that very early. You should learn it. But that your question was, why did your parents, tell you to get something secure? And they were absolutely right. And I felt like I was a late bloomer and because of the family being broken, but it got caught up. You learn the things you need to know, and you start to work and prosper wherever it is you are. And of course, you're going to make mistakes because of the steps that were missed, but you get to make them up. God knows where people will make mistakes. So you can still prosper, you can still be successful. If someone teaches you, well, you need to get your education because that's going to allow you to think a certain way. Like I'm not a school teacher, but the principles that I learned will apply to anything.
Wow, that's very deep. Especially too, because you're like, most people, they don't think about the business side of the music industry.
Well, we're trained to do that.
Yeah.
But thank goodness it's a new day.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
time to progress. And of course, those of us who have been through it, and we understand the whole human race is our family, but especially Black people is my family. It's my privilege to open that door to you now before you go all the way down, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you keep stumbling, and you don't, you have enough to stumble over. You don't have to stumble over that, because we know many of us still don't know better.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you have had to overcome in your career?
I would say primarily it was, how did the finance work in anything? And how can you make it, each situation that you're in, if you're not like at the top of the rung, how can you make that work financially for you? Okay, maybe I'll give you an example. If you're not making a lot of money, what is it going to cost you to have a roof over your head? So you're not going to live in a palace? Where can you live? Is there someone that you can live with? Don't forget, if you do, then you owe them something. And part of it is your space. How are you going to prepare for what you need to do if you're in the same space with someone else? But that may be necessary in the beginning. But you got to work out, how are you going to do this? You have to have a roof over your head. You have to have food to eat first. So you consider those things, and how are you going to provide that for yourself as much as possible? That's where you will have authority and control, if you are able to pay for your own way. I lost my train of thought again. I'm sorry. What was the question?
No, yeah. Challenges that you've had to overcome.
I would say that, and I guess when you think about that aspect of it, it's not the only aspect, and it's not always the most important aspect. It orders your thoughts in a certain way. Then you say, okay, if this happens, if I don't have that, so when I stumble, make sure I go to the gym so I can get up. I'm flexible, because there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. Not if you have, you're going to have problems. So when you think about, how am I going to not starve? How am I going to not get sick? When you think about these things, they help you plan things in a way. So you say, okay, well, I can get my education, or I need to study this, or I need to take lessons in this. How am I going to pay for that? When am I going to rehearse this or study my craft? So it teaches you to order your time. What do I look like? Am I in good shape? What do I want to look like? Am I overweight? Am I healthy? What do I need to do that? We want to, I think, do things that are preventive. Don't wait till you get sick, because our culture teaches us, go to the doctor, no, you're the doctor, you prevent. Learn about diet, learn about exercise, learn how does your body work. Some people can eat a lot of sugar, they won't gain weight, they won't get diabetes, and some people won't. What's your type of body? And a very young person can be taught good eating habits. You are the machine, the talent. First of all, you can't function yourself, and of course you can't do anything else. But the greatest challenges are real basic ones, and people tell you that. Then when you get to the bigger ones, like, okay, people are working against you, or you don't have a network, or can't seem to save any money, you can't invest in yourself. You may need people or entities to invest in you. I don't know if I'm getting too sophisticated, because
No.
It can happen on very mundane levels. Like when I say invest in you, I also mean very basically, can I invest in myself and go get me a hamburger on up? But usually when you get to a certain point, you need equipment, you need costumes, you need travel, you need instruments. If you play an instrument, you need a place to rehearse, because if you're in your apartment, it's going to be too noisy or whatever. So you need a way to pay for these things. And what do I need? So I really know what my art costs. And I think these are the basic challenges that I've had, that I think I was able to provide for myself to some degree, because the way that I came into the industry was through backup singing in studios. So I said, oh, you need microphones, I'm in that environment, so I can see what's required and see what's needed. If you're not in that environment, find a way to go watch people, see what they do. See, because we got headphones that cost money. It's real basic though, because they become the challenges that kind of morph into something that's much more sophisticated. And we talk about managers and agents and people that help you. And basically, what they do is they get you somebody or to get the equipment that you need, the clothing that you need, the pay that you need. But these are the basic things that will morph into other things that if you know what they are, I don't think they will be such great challenges. You still have, you'll have challenges, but they'll be more even. You won't fall into pits like I did. And, I got good at getting up, but you don't want your life to be like that. Even if it's rocky and it's going uphill, you want it to be steady and secure, kind of balance if you can. So if you can kind of get some planning beforehand, it's more like that. But then there's life where nobody knows what's going to happen. So what can I tell you? Just be ready, get ready. If you're not ready, take a moment, think about it, and ask God to help you get ready, I guess.
Is that how you stay resilient? By talking to God?
Yeah. Because there's many times, maybe most times, maybe all the time, you really just don't know what's going on. It could be very simple, but you don't know what the answer is. Or maybe it's working for other people, but it's not working for you. Or you don't think it will work. Or maybe you're just scared. Life has just had so many different marvelous things. That's why it's life, I guess, here. But God knows, and I think if you can find places to be quiet, He'll tell you. And if you can find good friends to fellowship with, we're social creatures, I don't want to call us animals, kind of bounce things off people so you can see what it looks like to someone else, to give you an idea of if you're in the right ballpark. Or well, sometimes just the act of being social is very helpful. Just get out of your own goals and your own world. Sharing the space with someone else is good. Then it all kind of falls, well, it seems like it falls into place. God puts it into place, or it's already in place because He's already put it in place. I would say go to God first, and then, however it seems, it's going to work out some kind of way for you, usually. Yeah.
You believe in paying it forward. So why is it important for you to do that when it comes to up and coming artists? Like even listening, you get sent a lot of work by new artists and everything.
Yeah. It's just the way the universe works. Mm-hmm. They're the next generation. They are the future. They are your future. They help you to remain relevant when you become mature to a certain point where your vision is not theirs, and theirs is relevant, and so is yours. Mm-hmm. But you're in a new community now, and they'll help you get acquainted with who's in the neighborhood now. And let's make friends. Don't kick me out.
Right. Speaking of which, like during the earlier times of the quarantine, when there was club quarantine with D Nice,
yeah,
you got shouted out, and there was just like a great reception. Everybody was so excited about that. Can you just take us back to that moment?
Yes, well, that's a good example of what you were saying, because we were saying, how do you pass the torch or share it with the next generation? Mm-hmm. But they do it for you too. Yeah. He says, here's you stepped in my life. Remember this? Don't forget about her. Mm-hmm. And Sister Sledge and several other artists. It's a family affair. That's really what it is. And he called me, we had conversations, so that he could share that with his audiences. And everything is, especially since the pandemic and since internet, how we communicate is very, 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 very much different than it was before. And so internet is Main Street now. And it's not it's global. It's not a door-to-door salesman the way it was. That doesn't exist really anymore. So by us having God's grace to want to connect with everybody really as your family members, something pops out of your little family and supports you. It's not like I had any idea that this would happen. but that's how it naturally works. So you can encourage everyone to be that way and do that, not knowing what the future is going to bring, knowing that something good is going to come out of it, even if a lot of things bad happen. Something good that's vital to support and help you survive and move and be of value to where you are then, not just stay there for your own benefit, but have some. He's sharing me with his viewers and his listeners, and they're interested. So because of your makeup is something that community and that time is still interested in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So on your new album, Imagine, you worked with your daughter on it, how did that come about?
Well, it came about that my daughter kept bringing me these songs that she said her Uncle Bo thought was good for me. Now her Uncle Bo is my ex-husband's brother.
Oh, okay.
So we're not together anymore.
But they're still...
Yeah. And so I stood, okay, so what does Uncle Bo want me to do with these songs? She says, well, listen to them first of all, and would you consider, they would bring me one song. This happened over a period of 3 or 4 years. I said, great, I like it. So now what? She says, well, Uncle Bo wants to know, would you go in the studio, he'll pay for it and put the musicians and everything together to see how it comes out, how it works for you. And so we did that song by song by song over a period of about 3 or 4 years. And so then my daughter Charlie says, well, Mom, what should we do with it? I said, I don't know. What do you think we should do with it? She said, well, Mom, why don't we pare them down to like about 10 songs? We had about maybe 20 songs, so we had a lot of songs. Yeah. And see if we can put them in some kind of sequence, in some kind of order. And let's take each one and at least give a preliminary like mastering. So what is it really going to sound like when it's finished? So that's not so rough for you to listen to judge what you really think about it and see what the production quality is. And so we did that, and we all agreed that we had an incredible album. And I think that happened because once again you see yourself from somebody else's view, which gives you added ability to communicate, because your job is to communicate, not just do what you think is great. Otherwise, you never change. So we all agreed that it was a great album. It was very, very diverse, and that we should put the album out, even though people are just putting out singles now. And that was the concept. And because I'm a God person, all the songs have that feeling to it. Even the one that says, it's called Take Her Picture Down. Mm-hmm. So I'm so sick and tired of thinking about you every night as I'm laying here in my bed by myself.
Hey.
And when I come over to your house again, you need to take her picture down because she's not going to be there very long. But it's still romantic, which is a gift from God, from us. It still has, it's not a religious feeling, but it's a sweet, heavenly, romantic, clean feeling. It's not, let's just go to bed.
Right. No.
Yeah.
And your vocals too, like you're still killing it on the tracks.
Thank you.
You really are. Do you still have to practice your craft, like take any training or anything, or do warm-ups?
Absolutely. I have to have, I'm like a basketball player or a football player.
Okay,
you have to stay in training. You can't eat certain things. You have to breathe. You have to exercise because all of the lungs and all of the breathing apparatus, it's like you have to be your own ventilator. You have to exercise it. Also have to, what I call exorcise it. You have to drive the wicked spirits out.
Ooh.
Which is very important.
Yeah, it is. What, can you give us an example?
Well, just prayer.
Yeah.
You keep the Holy Spirit in control and contain it. So when you hear the music, that's what you experience Him. That's very important. Actually, no matter what you're singing. I know we kind of know that if it's a religious song. But at this point, I've been through so many challenges, and I've been through situations where Well, I don't have an agent, or there's nobody around, or didn't. So, but there's always God. So that gets to be really almost all you hear in my music. So I think that's why it's so good. Because I'm sure the project is so great. I'm going to have new agents. I have a great partner managing now. I have the people who helped me have all of the success that I've had in my recorded music over the years are back in my life again. So these teams of people are added back. Your foundations in your community is made whole again. So I'm not by myself anymore.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. What is the feeling that you want people to get when they listen to your music?
Maybe wholeness. Actually, it's not what I didn't do it for them to get something because I didn't know it was there. So what I want them to get is, let me ask you something. Have you listened to any of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was listening to like Imagine. I didn't finish it, but I was listening to like a couple of the songs and I was just like, wow, this feels good. It feels positive. I love the vocals, you know.
That's what I want you to get out of it. I didn't know what it would be. Of course, I want you to hear that my vocals are slamming. Of course, I want you to hear that the production is pristine and beautiful, because when you hear each song and you hear the musical intro, if it does what it wants to, it doesn't matter who's singing. By the time they come in with the first verse, you already like it. So I want you to have these things, but I could say that, but you really tell me what I want you to have.
Oh, I get what you're saying. You want the listener to feel what they just feel.
Yeah. And I already trust that it's going to be something really good.
Well, that's good. I mean, do you ever think that there are times where artists are working on something that they don't necessarily believe in?
Yeah, but I can't say that's necessarily a guide by whether or not they should do it, because sometimes they're not the best judge. That's why you need other people's feedback and opinion so you can kind of build things around it and see what kind of mixture of little population that you have that you're working with, to try to come to what is the right conclusion and try to make the best decisions. I don't know that you ever really know. Like, we all hope and think this, but we have to take the risk of putting it out and getting your feedback to see what was, because you all are the final judge. So some people don't know at all what's good for them. They need someone to tell them. Other people, you don't need nobody to tell me nothing. I know this and they're right. So I don't know what to tell you.
Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about what's happening in R&B nowadays?
I think it's always been good because it's been continuing to grow and to be diverse. And there will always have, music that's, negative and cursing and focusing on the wrong things, but it's reflective of the human condition. So I don't think we can just shut that out or cut it down, but we can remind people, please try to focus on what's going to help and what's going to do good, and not on that which is going to bring everybody down. And especially the new music is created by young people, by new people. And they can wind up music putting them in jail or getting them into drugs or doing something because nobody warned them. This is what it could lead to. And you don't want to use your talents to influence people to do bad things. But I don't think it should be just shut down. Otherwise, how are we going to judge? But I think you better stay close to God. Everybody, no matter what you're doing, because we'll show you how to, move through everything. And whatever happens, how good or bad it is, to fix it if it gets broken or it gets messed up, or if lives get ruined, to save them, bring them back again. We all have, certainly have great stories of repentance and renewal and revival and recover. So God provides a way for us to get back. But if I have an opportunity now, I say, don't go over there. But I'm not going to say to you, oh, well, the music is bad today because everybody's cursing, everybody's showing the behind, everybody's in, it's not bad because of that. It's diverse because of that. Excuse me, in my humble opinion. I don't know nothing any better than anyone else. But that's what I think. I think you need to have the diversity, and then we need to be teaching each other how to make good judgment.
Ooh, I love that.
And I think R&B music is ridiculous.
In the best way, you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. That rhythm and blues.
We are ridiculous. And you know what's happening now? We're having a stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger influence on the African beats in the contemporary fashion. It is giving us another whole, because I said, I know that's my music and everything, but my brother-in-law, Bo, put these African beats under there. And they're very subtle, but it's some kind of like refreshment in the beat. The beat is very, very, very important. It's the support. And it drives as well as supports the energy. And usually in a way that it affects your feelings before you necessarily know that's what's doing it. You just said, yeah. Before you know, you're bopping already. It invades you.
Because I wanted to also know your thoughts on, and I'm sure like the viewers and the listeners are curious to know what you think about this too, when it comes to music and vibration and energy.
That's what I'm glad you asked the question, because I don't want to ever censor anything, but God created music to actually create the environment through which you can receive messages. That's why it's so powerful. I wish you could see some old vintage footage of Mahalia Jackson when she was going to Europe and singing to people that had no idea what language she was singing in. And she was singing something like, something like that, some of the things that she would be singing. And they were like this. That's what music does. That's what it is. It pervades everything, goes past everything. I mean, you can do that in terms of if you don't like it too, but it's going to do something. It's going to make you choose something.
So do you think people can separate like their feelings for a song versus like that's not how I wanted that to come out. So some people are like, you have to watch what you listen to, because that can like influence your mood and make you probably not the best version of oneself. Do you believe that you can separate yourself from that though?
Absolutely. That's why people who commit, acts of violence and crime, you listen to the music they listen to. It's not gonna be beautiful, sweet, soothing music. It's always it's gonna be that. And it's that way every single 100% of the time.
Wow.
It's what music is a live energy of something. And it comes from good or it comes from evil.
So should people be intentional about what they listen to, do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think what you hear in my album is because of what I've become. This is become of who and what I've become. So that's all I can give off. And that's why, of course, I'm happy about it, because it makes you feel good and makes you think things. It refreshes you, it makes you explore. You're not just in your little bubble. Your mind is refreshed. So you want to look around and see where you are, because it's nice. As one example, I don't know, I'm very limited in what I can say or imagine for someone else. But I know that it should be, whoever listens to it, it's going to be something pleasant, good, positive, something from heaven, not the other place.
And on that note, the marvelous Miss Melba Moore. Miss Melba Moore, thank you so much for chatting with So Booking Cool today. It was a pleasure. Just let everyone know how they can keep up with you.
Okay.
And, you know, check out Imagine, which everybody should listen to it if you haven't. And if you have, like, keep listening to it. And yeah.
Well, you basically said it. You can get it everywhere you can get music. And of course, you can see me on Instagram at Melba_Moore, and on my website, melbamoore.com. And go to Amazon and all the downloading and streaming platforms to either listen to it or buy the product. And of course, once again, it's called Imagine. And my executive producer is my daughter, and her name is Charlie. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. It's spelled Charli, like Charlie. She says Charlie Huggins, Huggins, not Higgins, Huggins.
Huggins, yes, let's make that clear. And you know, I like the way that you run your Instagram page too, like with the positive quotes included in there.
Mm-hmm.
Positive message.
Well, let me say my partner Ron Richardson helps me with that a lot.
Okay.
But you know, when anything like really great happens, we'll say, okay, what do you say? We'll say, nobody but Jesus. we keep it, you know, where's it coming from? What's the authenticity? What's the beginning of the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything that we do?
Love that. Again, this has been another episode of So Booking Cool. Thank you guys. Stay tuned and be well.